All right, wake up, Rip City. It's your Blazers basketball podcast. I'm your host, Alex Moore. Joined alongside me, it's Jay Gliss. Jay Gliss, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I had a rough night last night watching the Blazers. They drop a 123 to 115 home game to the Lakers, but man, that wasn't even really the Lakers, man. That was a squad of just a bunch of guys who, were playing without their three stars. They come into Portland and they get the W. A tough game, but here we are reacting to it. Gliss, how are you today?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, that was not ideal. You texted me it was possibly a trap game, and we'll jump into that more, I'm sure. But yeah, that's out of all the games they've played so far, that's the one I'd like to forget the most.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I texted you, Gliss. I texted my dad. I said, this is a trap game, 100%. You're coming off the best win of the season against the Denver Nuggets at home. Great game on Halloween night. They have 2 days off. The Lakers are coming to town. We hear yesterday morning, late afternoon, early afternoon, somewhere in there, that Reeves and Luka Doncic are going to sit. And it's like, okay, well, this Blazers team already beat this team without Doncic, and Reeves killed us. So now Reeves is sitting. It's like, wow, this should be in the bag, was my initial thought. But then those negative thoughts start creeping in my brain. You know, the Blazers are 4-2. Now there's expectations, and then you start to realize, like, oh god, this is a total trap game. This is 100% a trap game. You have a bunch of guys in LA who are, they were just playing hard, and the Blazers came out flat right away. They were able to build some leads in that second quarter, a little bit in that third quarter as well. But the Lakers were able to hang on and stay close, and I just felt it the entire game. I did not feel good about their effort at times. The shooting was off, which is obviously so key to any win in the NBA nowadays, is you've got to be hitting a certain percentage from three, and the Blazers were not doing that. And they just came out flat, looked bad, and Blazers drop one last night to the Lakers. But, Gliss, as we do on Wake Up Rip City, and this is really going to test us, we always start with a positive feeling from the game. So, I'm going to test you, Gliss. Wake up on the right side of the bed this morning. What's your positive take from last night?
I think it's probably more like a big picture thing, but I mean, there's still.
Fair enough.
I can't specifically speak on last night. No, I would say they're 4-3 still. They've played 2 games against the Lakers, one at home, one on the road. They split those. Denver, I think, was one that you would circle like maybe that's a loss. They got the win there, and then they kind of come out and just didn't have the energy, didn't have the shooting to hang with a very depleted Lakers team last night. But that's the NBA. You got to show up every night, and I think you talked about trap games. Sometimes it's just human nature. I mean, we all have days where we're not feeling it at work or whatever. But yeah, to me, the main positive is it was one game. You move on, like you said, or like I kind of mentioned, it's one that I'd like to forget about, and I think they'll probably take that same mentality and just move on to the next game. Like, hey, we're 4-3. It's early in the season. This is it was more of an effort and a lack of shooting thing. The things that kind of lost them that game. So it's nothing glaring that jumps out as a huge negative.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I know I had mentioned, like, we this was a trap game, and even with that said, we want to take some positive. So the positive that I'll take from last night is the Blazers are a team with expectations now. And that in itself is exciting. And the feeling of the loss last night for Portland was not a feeling that we've had in the last few years. Because the Blazers of the last few years, if they drop a game against the Lakers at home against, their non-stars, it's not that big of a deal. The Blazers were trying to lose at times in the last few years. And fans often would, brush a loss aside because that was part of the game. They were playing for draft picks, essentially, at least from a fan perspective. It's like, okay, We lost one. We get a higher pick in the draft. Now the Blazers are playing to win all the time. And of course, I'm not saying from the basketball player perspective, I'm speaking from a fan's perspective. And so there are expectations that you should beat the Lakers without their three stars at home, you know, and that is kind of the expectation of this team. Now, is that a low expectation? Yeah. Did they not meet that expectation? Yep, we saw the basketball game last night. They did not. But I will say there is at least a little bit of a positive side from a fan's perspective saying, okay, this team has expectations. The pain of a loss is back. Like in this weird, like sick way, it's like, okay, at least like now we can feel that kind of fandom. I don't know, man. As I'm saying it, I'm like, does this even make sense?
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean, like you said, those are games previously where it's like you almost expected a loss. Like pretty much every night, you were just like, hopefully they can match up and compete. That has changed, and you're right. We're in a different mindset, I think, as fans and people that love the Blazers. Just we have expectations now. So I agree. That's not a bad place to be given everything that's happened in the last several years.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you, Gliss. Thank you, Gliss. You make me feel like I'm not going absolutely insane trying to pull a positive out of an absolutely disgusting loss last night, like on all levels.
It's just like, well, Shaden shot 7 threes, but one of them went in.
Oh no, yeah, we'll get to that too. Okay, are we done waking up on the right side of the bed?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Let's
yeah.
move past it.
Let's wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Gliss, give me your takes from this game. What went wrong last night?
I mean, the thing that just jumps out is the 3-point shot. I can't remember what the percentage was. I don't know if you have the stats up, but I do know Shaden was, I believe, 1 for 7. Drew Holiday, I think, he had a 0, I believe. I think it was 0 for 6, something like that. Danny Advia didn't shoot the ball well. Kamara, I believe I think he took 11 threes.
Yeah, wow,
So,
you memory, Gliss. Let me.
I,
I got it for you right now. Kamara 3 for 11. Klingon 0 for 1. Holiday 0 for 6. Sharp 1 for 7. Murray 0 for 2. Blazers overall shoot 9 for 40 from three. So I think that's under 25%. Yeah.
yeah, you're not going to win very many NBA games against any team, even a team like that. Those are still guys that have earned their way to be on the court, and yeah, it's because of injury, but they're NBA players, and you're shooting that percentage from the 3-point line, especially when you're taking that high of a volume of shots. Not going to win many games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the shooting was terrible, and bad shooting nights happen, and so it's like hard to be like really frustrated about that. I think a signature of a good team is that they figure out how to win when the bad shooting night happens. So, hopefully that's a place where this team will eventually get to and grow to. The issue that I had was kind of the shots in the flow of the offense because there wasn't any flow of the offense.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, especially I feel like in the second half, there was very little ball movement and possessions just ended with some sort of three off a dribble or kind of a contested three. And they weren't good shots that were coming in the flow. Denny Advia had a great game, finished with 33 points, I think. But he seemed like kind of the only guy out there that was really giving true energy, really taking it to the rack. And just at a certain point in the fourth quarter, when the Blazers are trying to come back, which is not a spot that they want to be in, they weren't able to get over the edge. And I think there was one play when Advia drove down the lane and got called for it was a questionable charge, but he was definitely forcing it down the lane, and just ran into a Lakers defender and gets called for that charge. And it's like, this is kind of the feeling of the night. It's like, okay, this is too little too late. And when you're forcing things like that, the Lakers have you right where they want you. and they were getting into their offense, it seemed so calm. They knew what spots to get to. Rui Hachimura was incredible from the mid range. Nick Smith Jr., my God, just hitting every shot. And it's just like they just felt like the complete opposite of the Blazers when they were getting into their offense. They knew where they wanted to get and where they wanted to get to their spots, where it seemed like the Blazers were an absolute struggle. And we knew this was going to be a struggle this season. We knew that their offense in the half court was going to struggle because they just don't have the shooting and they don't have that go to guy like we've mentioned. And I feel like if you're really going to take a negative from this game, is like, a potential is this the potential for the rest of the season? Are there going to be more games like this where they really struggle in that half court offense, especially late in games?
Yeah, it felt stagnant, and I think to take it a step further, even when they did get some ball movement in the fourth quarter, it felt like that was even forced. It didn't feel like it was with any purpose. It just felt like they were just kind of swinging the ball around. And you're right. It seemed like it always ended on a less than ideal shot attempt. So we talked about this a little bit last week, just not really having, there is no Anthony Simons anymore, who is a guy that can just go get you a bucket and kind of take over a game in those moments.
Yep.
And we kind of discussed who potentially could be that guy. I think Shaedon, there was a stretch of a couple minutes where it kind of felt like he was trying to do that. And, I think he hit a three and then he took it to the basket like a possession or two later. But yeah, it's a little bit concerning, just long term, to see if that's going to be an issue that comes up, in particular in close games, because they're probably going to be in a lot of close games, especially against those Western Conference teams.
Yeah, I know that stretch you're talking about. I think it was early in the fourth quarter. Shaedon started to get a little bit of a rhythm going. He had a couple takes to the rim, and started to get it going. And then I felt like the rotations were just a little bit off too from Coach Splitter. I think Shaedon had started to get something going, and then he was kind of pulled out. And I think that is kind of how the rotation goes. Like Shaedon often gets pulled out after a short spurt, especially in the first quarter. But I also feel like sometimes he's one of those players that really needs to get a rhythm going. And so for him to get pulled sometimes early or when he's hit a couple shots in a row, I just feel like it's like maybe something like if he's aggressive and hitting, like leave him in the game and let him play it out. But yeah, I mean, at what point do we hit the panic button on Shaedon? Because I know it's early and I don't want to be like this classic, like sensational internet, like freak out, like, oh, this guy's terrible and all this stuff, because he's not. But there's starting to be some trends that we're seeing from Shaedon that feel like they're not going to change. And that is a huge concern. The season's very long. I know he'll get into better rhythms, and I know some of those shots will start to fall. But like the pull up, the off the dribble shots are just not what we want to see from him. The takes are still forced. He's still pressing. I know we're only 6 games into the season or 7 games into the season, so it's hard to like say, okay, this isn't even really realistically a sample size of the season yet. I mean, we're not even 10% of the way through yet. But Gliss, is there a point where we start to hit the panic button? Where are your thoughts at?
I mean, I definitely think that it's not a big enough sample size, I would say, because we've seen the kind of player he can be in flashes, but it's concerning. And I would say probably the one thing that kind of like concerned me the most is, I believe it was at the end of the first half when he had a breakaway and didn't realize how much time was on the clock. And the time expired as he was on a fast break and he was like at the top of the key. And I think it was a one-on-one fast break, and Jeremy Grant was kind of looking at him like, "What are we doing here?" It's like, yeah, yeah, and it looked like he had. I mean, he kind of like shrugged it off and said "my bad" or something like that. But it looked like he had no awareness at all, or had forgot or whatever that the time was about to expire. So it's concerning that his play hasn't lived up kind of to what we were hoping it would be. And then you add on top of that mental errors like that, where it just kind of looks like he's not fully engaged, and it's a little concerning. But again, I don't think it's time to hit the panic button. He's a talented player. And let's not forget too, like they're already dealing with some injuries. That's another thing. Another big takeaway I had from last night is, man, it's going to suck to not have Blake Wesley and Thibault out there, because I think we kind of saw a dip in that just energy, that kind of in your face aspect that we've seen in the first 2 weeks of the season. I think that those two guys, along with Tumani, are probably kind of the motor that makes that, that kind of drives that whole presence. And so dealing with some injuries, and there's going to be moving parts and different lineups. And let's not forget to Tiago Splitter. I mean, he was kind of thrown into this as a new assistant, and now all of a sudden he's the head coach. So I think it's still early. There's no reason to hit the panic button on anything in particular. They're still 4-3. They've still been exciting, just more fun to watch, more competitive than they have been in previous seasons. But if we're going to pick out things that are kind of negative and kind of concerning for the bigger picture, then I think Shaedon obviously kind of stands out.
Yep, definitely. And we both love Shaedon, so we're gonna.
I love him. Yes,
absolutely. Like, I mean, he's just one of my favorite styles of play to watch. He's just so smooth with his shot and his drive, so athletic, and we just want to see him succeed. That's all. So we're always going to talk about Shaedon. So the moment that he has a blow up game, I'm calling you for an emergency pod, Gliss, because we're getting on a recording when he scores 30.
And we're going to be like, yeah, we love those pull up 3-pointers.
So fast, yeah. So yeah, and you spoke on those injuries, and that's a great point. And the Blazers don't have a point off the bench right now. Honestly, it is Caleb Love, but yeah, Blake Wesley, of course, comes out. He fractured his foot. Timeline on this surgery, or that he'll probably have to have surgery. I don't know if they've made a decision on that yet, but it's kind of up in the air. Like they said, there's no timeline on it. And, I think Dame has had this injury before. CJ's had this injury before. Sometimes you miss a few months. Sometimes you miss the whole season. Like it does take a while to heal. And it's one of those injuries that can come back very easily. It can happen again. So it's very important for him to heal the right way after they decide kind of his plan to recovery. So that sucks. And then Matisse, of course, I think he tore a ligament in his thumb and had to have surgery. And so he'll be missing, I think, like 2 months or something like that. I don't remember the exact dates.
I think it was 4 to 6 weeks is what.
4 to 6. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, those are big injuries. I mean, it sucks to see that happen because those were two guys that were playing out of their mind. Mm-hmm. And like you said, that energy factor off the bench is so important because you want to see players in that situation who are coming in off the bench, giving just 100% and just really building up the team with their energy. And those are two things that Matisse and Blake Wesley did. So yeah, unfortunate to see those injuries. And we kind of see, the outcome of it a little bit last night. Scoot Henderson could not come back faster. Man, it was so awesome. Back to some positives. Seeing him do the interview during the Nuggets game when Kevin and Lamar had him on the bench talking, and they couldn't even ask him a question because he was talking so much about the game, cheering, making those noises that Scoot makes. And it was just amazing to see Scoot kind of, I mean, that's just who he is. We've learned, his personality over the years, but it's just so exciting to see him so into the game. And I'm just so excited for him to come back. They had said it was a 1 to 2 month, kind of, they would reevaluate him in 1 to 2 months. So we're sitting on 1+ month now. So hopefully we hear something soon. Scoot seemed ready to go, man. He was talking about how he felt great and everything like that. But Scoot coming back will be huge for this team, especially with the injuries that they've had so far.
Yeah, I agree, and maybe that's another factor that could kind of help Shaden, get a little boost of confidence. Get those two in the open court a little bit, take some pressure off of him. So I think that's definitely something to look forward to right now. Yeah, it sucks. The injuries, like I said, definitely could feel the drop off the bench last night. Jeremy's still kind of doing his thing off the bench in terms of scoring.
Yeah.
But that energy level, yeah, you could feel it last night. There was a little bit of a drop off, but it's a long season. There's injuries are going to happen, and hopefully, with those guys out, hopefully it's not too much longer for until we get to see Scoot for the first time.
Absolutely. And now we look ahead to Wednesday night, Gliss. Do you know who's coming to town? It's the NBA champs, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, they are coming off a back-to-back, but the Lakers were last night too, so let's maybe say that with a grain of salt. But it's crazy, this Blazers team. I would not be shocked at all if coming off a loss to the Lakers without their 3 stars, if the Blazers come out and beat this Thunder team. I would not be shocked. It's going to be very difficult. I mean, this Thunder team is one of the best NBA teams in the last, I don't know how long. I mean, maybe ever. I mean, just seeing what they did last season and seeing the play of SGA, this is going to be a tough one, Gliss.
Yeah, I think it should be fun to kind of, especially since they're still a young team too, like for as good as they are, and where they were at, 2 or 3 seasons ago. I think it's kind of what the Blazers aspire to be. I feel like they're going to be up for this game. And like you said, the Thunder are coming off a back-to-back. We'll see, how they do in the first half of that, because they haven't lost a game yet. So, potentially if they win, it might be a little bit of a trap game for Oklahoma City, especially if the Blazers are kind of like, wanting to get that bad taste out of their mouth from the way they played against the Lakers, correct some things, and it should be fun either way.
Do you think the Thunder? Because I watched the starting 5, the Netflix show with all the NBA.
That's a great show,
really good, and it's awesome to get kind of the insight from the players and stuff, like, and SGA especially, just like following him, because it's like this guy's so good, and he even talks in the show about how scoring 30 is a bad game for him now because he averages more than 30 a game. But I'm just interested in the Thunder because, like, they won so many regular season games last year. Do you think that they're thinking about 70 wins this regular season? Because, I mean, at this point, undefeated at this point in the year, is 70 wins something that a team like this even considers? Or do they care about that? Like, are they going to rest players on a back-to-back like the Lakers did last night? To me, I just don't think so. It just seems like, I mean, this team could easily win 70 games this season, and that's just kind of what my mind's at. Like, that's probably what their focus is too, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, a team that good, yeah, I would think that, especially as young as they are still, I would think that, as competitors, that's probably, they won a championship already, and I'm sure they want to win many, many more. But, there's certain things that you kind of always have to have something to get you up and to motivate you, I feel like, as a professional athlete. So yeah, I could see from their perspective that's maybe a goal that they have on their mind. I know how I would feel about it. Like, personally, as a fan, I mean, yeah, you'd love to see it. But I guess I'm coming more from the standpoint of if I were in the front office, or if I was looking at long term, how long this championship window could be. And it's like, if they're good enough to kind of coast and try to stay healthy and really kind of gear up for the playoffs, that's probably where my mindset would be more so. But I'm not an NBA player that wants to go compete and be the best every single night. So yeah, I would say it's probably on their mind.
Definitely, yeah. And that's just my thoughts. I'm like, man, that, like, you think the Thunder coming on a back-to-back like that in Portland, like, that's the place where it's like, okay, the Blazers can, you know, this is where they can take advantage of beating a really good team, and they have a really good chance to. But like, man, if the Thunder are looking at winning, you know, 70 games, they're not gonna take it easy. I mean, they're not tough, and a championship team doesn't. But they also know coming to Portland, they're gonna get Portland's best punch, because the Blazers know that, you know, the NBA champions are coming into their house as well. So, all right, Gliss, anything else to add? We got Thunder on Wednesday. We're gonna forget about last night. It's gone out the memory right now. So everyone listening, just throw it out. Blazers Thunder Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Tip for that one. And yeah, we're the Wake Up Rip City podcast. You can check us out on Spotify. We have video on Spotify. You can check us out on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, which is currently called More of Alex Podcasts. I go by More of Alex Moore. And so you can check out all of our videos on there as well. And we're going to start to post some more shorts too of just clips from the episodes. You guys can just check out some clips and everything like that. But please subscribe to us on YouTube, and please follow us on Spotify as well. Gliss, good to see you. Sorry what we had to talk about, but you know, hey, we had some positives, so we'll take that as a win.
Yeah, and like you said, we just move past it now and put it behind us. So.
It's gone. This podcast never even happened. All right, we will see you next time. This is Wake Up Rip City.